Hey everyone, DJ Stutz here with Little Hearts Academy, USA.com, and Imperfect Heroes podcast. And you'll see a little different background. I'm at another child's house. Hopefully, 2 more weeks till we get to move into our home. But I'm at my oldest daughter's, Candace's. If you've been listening for very long, you've heard a little bit here and there about her. And I would love it if you watch this, whether it's live or you're watching a replay down the road. But I would, my dog, there, I would love it if you would tell a friend and share. That would be a huge help for us. And before we get started on our big topic for today, I also wanted to let everyone know that just for the month of February, I have a free webinar called from strategic no from unwitting saboteur to strategic hero parent. And it's just a little 1 hour workshop. You can download it, watch it whenever it's good for you. But as soon as we're done on February 28th, well, that's going to go down. And so you won't be able to see it anymore. You can always get it at our website, which is www.littleheartsacademyusa.com. So you may hear some family sounds in the background. And so we've got family and conversation and all that great stuff that comes from being with your daughter and enjoying her family. And my husband's up there. So you may hear a little bit, and that's okay. Today, I have just a topic that is so important to me. And I have a guest that is totally awesome on the podcast this week. So his name is Eddie White, and he is a proud dad of two amazing daughters and the loving husband of a wife of, I think it's like 20 something years, 20, getting close to 30 years. Yeah, they're getting there. They're in the 20s anyway. And Eddie is amazing. He is a public speaker. He is an author. He runs groups for men. So focus groups, conversation groups, all of that. And he talks to men about their responsibility as a dad and as a husband. And that's a big thing for me is when dads are involved in the lives of their children, it makes a huge difference. Now, that could be a difference for the good or a difference for the bad, right? If you're not setting the right example, if you're not modeling the best behavior, then your kids are going to pick up on that too. But when you cherish them and are excited to be a father and you are excited to watch them grow and have a role in their lives so that you can teach them that they are worth so much more than just their looks. They are worth so much more than what money they can bring in into the marriage. They are, or a relationship. They are worth so much more than just being a sex object, actually. And there's so many girls out there that are so willing to give that up because they feel like really that's their best value, I guess. That's what they have to offer and to bring in. So he has raised these amazing girls. They're well educated. One is married, one not yet. And they are both successful and happy and in good relationships. And so Eddie is a great person to listen. Now, if you're not a guy listening, and chances are you're not, because most of my audience is women, what he has to say is really important for women to hear. And this is something maybe you can listen to in the car with your husband as you're driving, somewhere, or taking some time as you're working on Saturday, getting things done, whatever it is that you have going on. Invite your guy. And I want you to invite, if you have any older kids in the house, so maybe high school kids, to listen in, especially the boys, to listen in on what they have as possibilities as they grow older. And so we really, as a society, I don't think have been doing a fabulous job at raising men, raising men who honor their wives, who are kind but firm in the way that they talk to their kids. You don't have to be a drill sergeant to get them to listen to you or to follow, whatever family rules and family values that you have. In fact, it's best if you're not. But you can stand strong, calmly, and just don't give in, right? Don't let things push you around. And little guys, I love them. With all my heart, I love them. But um, I have seen them manipulate daddies, especially. And so I've seen them scream and yell, "You're a bad daddy because you wouldn't let me play in the playground after school." I have seen them, "Oh, daddy," and pull on those heartstrings. And I will tell you, that happened a bit in our home. And in fact, there were times when I knew what they were asking for was fine. But their dad, my sweet husband, worked long hours, especially towards, the first 10 years, 15 years of our marriage, just trying to make ends meet so that I could be home with our kids and raise them. And so their relationship with their dad was really important to me. One of the things that I did was that when they would ask for something, and I knew it would be fine, and I knew their dad would say it would be fine, but sometimes I would say, "You know what? Call your dad and make sure it's okay." And then he got to be, the guy that said, "Oh, yeah, sure, you can do that." And that would help them, feel a little closer with all of the work hours that he was putting in. And another thing is that well, whatever parent you are, right? But especially with dads, when you walk in the door after a long day at work, that first 5 minutes is so important, really important. And so, what you want to do with your little guys, and especially when they're younger, but even when they get older, you don't want to do it the same way you would with a 2-year-old, but you still want to acknowledge them. But to come in and say, "Hey, where's my babies?" And give them hugs and let them run up to you and pick them up and swing them around and tell them how much you miss them during the day and you've just been looking forward to seeing them and how they make you so happy and how proud you are of them and how much you love them, all of that stuff. And then after about 5 minutes of just what was your day, let them see you, daddy, kiss mom, dad, but let them see that their parents are in a strong, happy relationship. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give to your children is to work on that relationship and work on it hard. When your 5 minutes is up, then you can say, "Up, I got to go up and change my clothes. I'll be back in 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever." If you need to have some time to calm down and take a breath, you can do that out in the car before you come in as well. But, sometimes certain days take a little longer to put behind you so that you can look forward to the time that you have with these really important people that are in your life. So, if you need to, you can even set the timer. The kids love holding the timer. "Okay, let daddy know when the timer goes off, and then I'll be ready to come out." And you can go out and take off the clothes of the day and put on some fun, relaxing, comfortable clothes so that you can move on with your day. That is going to be so key. And really, that one little act, that 5 minutes in the day, is going to make a huge difference in the lives of your kids, it's important that your daughters see that you respect their mother and other women. How about that you respect your mother? How about your mother-in-law? you know, how do you treat women when you are out running errands at the grocery store, whatever it is that you're doing? How are you treating them? And would you want someone to talk to your daughter that way? Because if they see that that's how daddy just treats women in general, that's what they will learn to expect from men as they grow up and start, having those little early boyfriends and then go on to choosing their mate and getting married and having a family of their own, that they will often allow themselves uh, to be treated that way because you did it. And so I want you to really think about, how are you treating women? How are you encouraging them in what they want to do? If you have a daughter that wants to play hockey, let her play hockey. You know, no big deal. If you have a daughter that wants to read every book in the library, let's get started. Let's take trips to the library. At a time, I don't know if it's evenings or if it's on a weekend or something that is the best time for you guys, but to have a tradition in that. If you have a daughter, you love sports. Let's say you do, right? I grew up in a home where sports was a number one. It was a big deal after church, I think. But and you allow them to come and sit by you and ask a million questions, because then they're getting to know the rules, they're getting to know the teams, they're getting to know the players, and they're going to be able to have amazing and fun conversations with you down the road. The deal is, you have to put in a little bit of time, a little bit of inconvenience as they are growing. I heard that. As they are growing, so that then as they get older, they know it, they understand it, and they can understand things, of course, just as well as the boys. Another thing that you can do as you're teaching your daughters is to teach them to look for boys with good values, with intelligence, with kindness. And so you can even talk to them when they're little and they say, Joey, blah, 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 or whatever. Oh, I mean, even in kindergarten, they get these cute little crushes, and it's so fun to watch. But you can ask, is he a good boy? Does he get good grades? How does he treat the teacher? Is he nice to girls, or does he say mean things or bad words or whatever? Start getting them thinking about that. And I'll tell you, the minute they start talking about a boy with that certain little twinkle in their eyes, and it can start in kindergarten, that's when you need to start asking these questions and say, well, is that really how you want, who you want to be with? Is someone that's mean? Well, he was mean to so and so, or he got in a fight, or he did this, or whatever. He spit on something, on someone, and you can say, wow, is that someone you really want to like? You know, and let them lead them. And they may say yes, but at least you've put the thought into their mind early on, and they can start deciding what they like and what they don't like about boys. And at the same time, they can help to little girls, man, we have a lot of power. And dads, you know that, don't you? Yeah. And so talking to them as they get older about what it means to be a good friend and then a good girlfriend to boys, as we learn not to make demands that are beyond their capacity, allowing them time to get studying done, and supporting them in their positive efforts, going to games. That's all of that's good fun. All of that is great stuff, but you want to make sure that it is a very positive, self-fulfilling, safe relationship. And dads, you have such a huge key in that, in that piece. And so I hope that you will listen. And Eddie is amazing. And in fact, I was sharing about our podcast with a networking group that I'm a part of. And I had so many people say, I need his information. I want him on my podcast too. So he is awesome. And his book is Parenting in the White House. And so if you go to the podcast, and I've got the link on here already, but if you go to the podcast down in the show notes, all the stuff on connecting with Eddie and where you can get his book and all of that stuff. So I am really excited. Next week, I have a guy. His name is Michael Magrush. It's Austrian, and so he grew up in Austria. He now lives in California, but he is neurodiverse. He's a neurodiverse adult, and that means he was a neurodiverse kiddo, and trying to fit in and succeed in education in Austria with his own diversity within him was a difficult thing. But it was art that helped him and pushed him, and he didn't find that until he was an adult. And so it's a great story. That's going to be next week. And so I hope you'll listen then. As always, if you would like to have a free 50-minute conversation with me about your family, what are your successes, what are your worries, what are your goals, and then I can maybe help you come up with a plan to help you reach those goals, to understand your children better, and to build those relationships. So you can get that and sign up for that on my website, and I'll also put my calendar link in the comments. You can just click on there, pick a time that works for you, and I would love to connect with you and help you develop those values and the independence and the dependability that your kids are going to need to be successful as adults. And so we can do this together. And so until next week, let's find joy in parenting. See you later, guys.